Welcome back to Pivot Point. I'm your host, Maya Rockymore. It's my pleasure to introduce a friend and a colleague and a new author. Her name is Saru Jayaraman. She is the co-founder of Restaurant Opportunity Centers United and the author of a new book that you must go get. It's on Amazon.com and other places. Behind the Kitchen Door, an expose on how the restaurant industry treats its workers. Welcome, Saru.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Maya.
Yeah, what's the bottom line? What is your argument?
The bottom line is that there's so much that we don't know as people who eat out, but really need to know because it's impacting our health and our economy. There are over 10 million restaurant workers in America. It is actually the largest and fastest growing sector of our economy. 1 in 10 American workers works in the restaurant industry. Unfortunately, it also happens to be the lowest paying employer in America. So 7 of the 10 lowest paying jobs in America are restaurant jobs, and the 2 absolute lowest paying jobs in America are restaurant jobs, which means that we've got the largest and fastest growing sector of the economy proliferating the lowest paying jobs. And it also means that the people who are putting food on our tables can't afford to eat themselves because food servers, waitresses in our country, use food stamps at double the rate of the rest of the U.S. workforce. People often think these are people who earn a lot of money on tips when, in fact, the vast majority of these workers are women, and they earn poverty wages and can't afford to put food on their family's table.
Okay, you've just said a lot. We've got to unpack this. The fact is that the reason why the restaurant industry is expanding so rapidly is because more and more Americans are eating out, correct?
That's right. We're eating out with increasing frequency, more than any other country in the world.
And yet most of us don't even know how much restaurant workers get paid. Can you tell us about the pay structure of workers who serve our food?
Sure. So back in 1996, Herman Cain, former presidential nominee of the Republican Party.
Okay.
The Herman Cain.
Yes.
The Herman Cain struck a deal. He was the head of the National Restaurant Association, which is a huge corporate lobby in D.C. He, as the head of the National Restaurant Association, struck a deal with Congress saying that they, the National Restaurant Association, would not oppose the minimum wage rising for all other workers as long as workers who earn tips saw their wages frozen at $2.13 an hour forever. And so it's been stuck there for the last 22 years. And it means that our tips are not on top of a wage. They are the wage. Most of these workers see paychecks that literally say this is not a paycheck because $2.13 goes entirely to taxes. And so they're living off of tips, which can fluctuate, which are incredibly insecure. And you see these workers, I will tell you a story that's in my book of a young woman named Claudia, immigrant from Mexico, was trying to make her way through school, working at an IHOP, earned $2.13. This was in Texas. Was incredibly poor, couldn't afford to feed herself, and so would wait to get to the restaurant to eat pancakes. And not only did the tips not bring her up to the minimum wage, but, the restaurant would say to her, we don't want to be held liable for the fact that the tips are not bringing up to the minimum wage. This was IHOP, not some dinky ring, this was a mega corporation. They said, we're going to say to the government that you're making $7.25, and even though she was only earning $2.13, and sometimes the tips brought her to 5 or 6, but never to 7. And so one evening she worked a graveyard shift. Many nights she worked these graveyard shifts without earning tips. But one evening she worked a graveyard shift, got some tips, and a couple walked out in the restaurant without paying the bill. And she ended up having to pay the restaurant $20 for the luxury of working a 10-hour night. And this is just so common in our industry that the people who put food on our tables are incredibly impoverished, can't feed themselves. And we're not talking about a tiny industry. We're talking about a huge industry with mega corporations that are making a ton of money.
Can not only earn a living wage, but they don't have the benefits to ensure that they're healthy. I actually thought about you this week because there was a report about a two-star Michelin restaurant in Denmark where 60 people fell ill with a viral gastroenteritis, and they were basically vomiting, etc. And I didn't see this coverage in U.S. Newspapers, but I saw this coverage in U.K. newspapers that the health department is narrowing it down to a sick worker.
That's right. And actually in the U.S., 50 to 90% of all norovirus outbreaks, norovirus is this disgusting winter vomiting bug, they call it, 50 to 90% of those norovirus outbreaks can be traced back to sick restaurant workers because 90% of restaurant workers in America don't have paid sick days, which means that 2/3 report cooking, serving food with illnesses like the flu, like H1N1. There's a story of a guy in my book who worked with H1N1, pink eye, with just horrible illnesses because they don't have a choice.
They don't have health care coverage. They can't afford to take a day off if they are sick, and so they end up trying to power through their sickness by showing up to work to ensure that they get money.
That's right. And the National Restaurant Association literally pays millions of dollars each year to lobby local, state, and federal legislature that there should not be paid sick days, ordinances, or bills passed that would guarantee that these workers at least have the ability to take a day off when they're sick.
But this is a danger to America's public health.
That's right. It's a danger to these workers' health, to their coworkers that they infect, and to the public. Like I said, 1 out of 10 restaurant workers reports working with severe diarrhea or vomiting on the job twice a year.
It makes you think twice about going out.
Right.
It makes you think 3 times about going out.
That's right. Well, our thing is please continue to eat out. Please do eat out. We just need everybody to speak up. Speak up when they eat out and speak up to legislators.
All right, so let's talk about what to do.
Yeah.
What is the nature of the solution?
So we are actually closer than we've ever been to really building a groundswell of public support and moving these issues through Congress. So as you all know, President Obama mentioned minimum wage in his State of the Union, and in the White House policy brief, he actually mentioned that the minimum wage for tipped workers should also go up to $2.13 an hour. And so shortly thereafter, on Tuesday, George Miller in the House and Senator Harkin in the Senate introduced the first bill in 2 decades that would finally raise that tip minimum wage to 70% of the regular. So we're really gaining momentum, and we need help in 3 ways to let these legislators know that people are watching and need this bill to pass. First, with the book called Behind the Kitchen Door, we're really trying to lift it up to a national bestseller status so that everybody sees and knows what's really happening behind the kitchen door and will speak up about it. So we're asking everybody, please buy the book and let other people know to buy the book called Behind the Kitchen Door.
Buy the book.
And then 2, yeah, thanks. And then the second thing is that we've created a new online organization called The Welcome Table. It's at www.thewelcometable.net. We need people to join the organization, find out more about what's going on the website, but to sign petitions on that website asking Congress to do the right thing. And on that website, actually, there's a guide also for diners that lets diners know which restaurants are doing it right and which aren't. So there's tons of information and tools for everybody who eats out on that website. And then the third thing is to please speak up every time we eat out. 10 years ago, there was no locally sourced organic produce in restaurants or free-range chicken. People spoke up. And as they learned, as they read books like Fast Food Nation and Omnivore's Dilemma, they said, is this locally sourced? Is this organic? Is this free-range chicken? And restaurants responded. And so we feel like if people could really speak up at the end of their meal and say, I love the food, love the service, but you know what? I don't want to eat in a restaurant where workers don't have paid sick days. It's gross. Or I want to keep coming here, but I'd love to see you pay more than $2.13 because that's important to me as a customer. We haven't even talked about the issue of race. We want people to speak up and say, I noticed that all your servers are white and all your bussers are people of color, or in the back of the house, I noticed people of color. I'd love to see you provide promotion opportunities to the immigrants and people of color in your restaurant.
Actually, that's a chapter in your book where you talk about the racial caste system in the restaurant industry.
Yes, that's right, because there's a $4 wage gap between white workers and workers of color in this industry. Workers of color are kept in fast food restaurants, in casual restaurants, or literally behind the kitchen door, or in lower paying jobs like busser and runner positions. So this is also something consumers can do. You can speak up and say, I actually value a diverse wait staff. I like to interact with people from different backgrounds, to let the restaurants know, it can't always be about what they assume will sell, what they assume is the right look for a waiter or a bartender,
Right. Well, Saru, thank you so much for your advocacy and for basically lifting the veil on what's going on behind the kitchen doors. And
thank you so much. Yeah.
So I will do everything in my power to help you spread the word and to ensure that we can improve the working conditions for workers across the country. Thank you so much, Saru.
Thank you. Thank you, Maya. Take care.
All right.